Good day everyone, I'm Micah V. Bautista. I'm the first reporter of Strategy Generation and Selection. Strategy Analysis and Choice Process. Strategy analysis and choice is a process that reconciles strategic actions, market opportunities, corporate strengths and resources, values of managers, and legal requirements and social responsibilities. Kino-consider nila itong lahat sa pagbuo ng plano. At kapag meron na silang plano, pagbobotohan naman nila ang pinaka-the best gawin, kumbaga magkakaroon sila ng plan A, B, and C, and so on. The process of generating and selecting strategies. Sa paggawa at pagpili ng mga strategies, ay binubuo ito ng mga managers at employees and representatives from each department. Communication is the key to success, at ito ang ginagawa kapag nagpaplano. Example nito ay, sasagawa sila ng general meeting, and here they will exchange strategies that they believe could benefit the firm most, and also, alternative strategies must be considered. So lahat ng mga strategies nila, lahat ito nakasulat, and then strategies should be individually ranked in order of attractiveness by each participant with number 1 to 4, where 1 is the lowest and 4 is the highest, or should be implemented, and then collect the participants' ranking sheets and sum the ratings given for each strategy. Strategies with the best or highest sums are deemed the best. So this process results in a prioritized list of best strategies that reflects the collective wisdom of the group. The strategy formulation analytical framework. Divisional analysis provide a basis for identifying, evaluating, and selecting among alternative corporate level strategies. So dito, di kailangan basta pipili ng strategies. Meron tayong ginagamit sa pagtukoy o pagsuri at pagpili ng mga alternative strategies. Stage 1. The input stage. The input tools require strategies to quantify subjectivity during early stages of the strategy formulation process. Stage 1 consists of EFE matrix, CPM matrix, and IFE matrix. Regarding all of these allows strategies to more effectively generate, prioritize, evaluate, and select among alternative strategies. Good intuitive judgment is always needed in determining appropriate weights and rating, but keep in mind that a rating 3, for example, is mathematically 50% more important than with a rating of 2, so small differences still matter. Stage 2. Matching type. Match between its internal resources and skills and the opportunities and risks created by its external factors. The matching stage consists of 5 techniques that can be used in any sequence: the Swot Matrix, the Space Matrix, and Bcg Matrix, the Imatrix, and the Grand Strategy Matrix. These tools rely on information derived from the input stage, the stage 1, to match external opportunities and threats with internal strengths and weaknesses. Successful matching of key external-internal factors depends on those underlying key factors and being specific, actionable, and divisional to the extent possible. Stage 3. Decision stage. Involves single technique, the quantitative strategies planning matrix. A Qspm uses input information from stage 1 to objectively evaluate feasible alternative strategies identified in stage 2. It reveals the relative attractiveness of all alternative strategies and thus provide an objective basis for selecting specific strategies. So basically, stage 3 is where participants rate on the list of alternative strategies, agreed upon, where 1 is the lowest and 4 is the highest, and so that a prioritized list of the best strategies could be achieved.
Good day, everyone. I am Ria Ellen C. Cusi, and I will be the next reporter. And my report is Diagram and Explain the Boston Consulting Group Bcg Matrix, and Diagram and Explain the Internal External IE Matrix. The Boston Consulting Group Bcg Matrix and the Internal External IE Matrix are designed specifically to enhance a multi-divisional firm's efforts to formulate strategies. So, based in Boston and having 6,200 consultants worldwide, the Boston Consulting Group BCG has 87 offices in 45 countries and annually ranks in the top 5 of Fortune list of the 100 best companies to work. The Boston Consulting Group is a private management consulting firm that specializes in the strategic planning. Relative market share position RMSP is defined as the ratio of a division's own market share or revenues in a particular industry to the market share or revenues held by the largest rival firm in that industry. So, example of relative market share position: number of stores or number of restaurants, or in the airline industry, number of airplanes. So, we have table 8 to 3 and table 8 to 4. So, table 8 to 3. Reasons to or not to disclose financial information by segment by division. Reasons to disclose. Number 1, transparency is a good thing in today's world of Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002. Number 2, investors will better understand the firm, which can lead to greater support. Number 3, managers and employees will better understand the firm, which should lead to greater commitment. And last, number 4, disclosure enhances the communication process both within the firm and with outsiders. Reasons not to disclose. Number 1, rival firms can obtain free competitive information. Number 2, performance failures can be hidden. And last, number 3, rivalry among segments can be reduced. Table 8 to 4. Current market share data for cigarette and beer brands. What percentage of people smoke what cigarette brands in the USA? Marlboro, we have 40.2%. Newport, 12.2%. Pall Mall, 8.1%. Camel, 8.1%. Winston, 2.4%. Pyramid, 2.3%. Doral, 2.2%. USA Gold, 1.9%. Cool, 1.8%. Other, 21%. The total of cigarette brands in the USA is 100%. So, dito naman tayo sa what beer brands annually sell the most million barrels in the USA. Bud Light, 381. Coors Light, 182. Budweiser, 160. Miller Lite, 137. Corona Extra, 74. Samuel Adams, 23. Sierra Nevada, 10. New Belgium, 8. Industry growth rate. IGR. Growth rates refer to the percentage change of a specific variable within a specific time period. For investors, growth rates typically represent the compounded annualized rate of growth of a company's revenues, earnings, dividends, or even macro concepts such as gross domestic product (GDP) and retail sales. Expected forward-looking or trailing growth rates are two common kinds of growth rates used for analysis. We have growth rates are used to express the annual change in a variable as a percentage. Growth rates were first used by biologists studying population size but have since been brought into use studying economy activity, corporate management, or investment returns. Growth rates can be beneficial in assessing a company's performance and to predict future performance. Growth rates are computed by dividing the difference between the ending and starting values for the period being analyzed and dividing that by the starting value. The compound and annual growth rate CAGR is a variation on the growth rate often used to assess an investment or company's performance. We have the following list describes the four BCG quadrants: question marks, stars, cash cows, and dogs. Question marks. Divisions in quadrant first. Upper right have a low relative market share position, yet they compete in a high growth industry. Generally, these firms' cash needs are high and their cash generation is low. These businesses are called question marks because the organization must decide whether to strengthen them by pursuing an intensive strategy, market penetration, market development, or product development, or to sell them. Stars. Divisions in quadrant second, upper left, represents the organization's best long-run opportunities for growth and profitability and are therefore called stars. Divisions with a high relative market share and a high industry growth rate should receive substantial investment to maintain or strengthen their dominant positions, forward, backward, and horizontal integration, market penetration, market development, and product development are appropriate strategies for the divisions to consider. Cash cows. Divisions in quadrant third, lower left, have a high relative market share position but compete in a low growth industry called cash cows because they generate cash in excess of their needs. They are often milked. Many of today's cash cows were yesterday's stars. Cash cow divisions should be managed to maintain their strong position for as long as possible. Product development or diversification may be attractive strategies for strong cash cows. However, as a cash cow division becomes weak, retrenchment or divestiture can become more appropriate. Dogs. Divisions in quadrant 4, lower right, have a low relative market share position and compete in a slow or no market growth industry. They are dogs in the firm's portfolio because of their weak internal and external position. These businesses are often liquidated, divested, or trimmed down through retrenchment. When a division first becomes a dog, retrenchment can be the best strategy to pursue because many dogs have bounced back after strenuous assets and cost reduction to become viable, profitable divisions. The major benefit of the BCG matrix is that it draws attention to the cash flow, investment characteristics, and needs of an organization's various divisions. The divisions of many firms evolve over time. Dogs become question marks. Question marks become stars. Stars become cash cows. And cash cows become dogs in an ongoing counterclockwise motion. So, the basic BCG matrix appears in the figure 8 to 7. So, dyan sa table na yan. So, each circles represents a separate division. The size of the circle corresponds to the proportion of corporate revenue generated by that business unit, and the pie slice indicates the proportion of corporate profits generated by that division. So, itong table na to is figure 8 to 8, an example BCG matrix. Fall right in the middle of the BCG matrix and thus are not easily classified. Furthermore, the BCG matrix does not reflect if various divisions or their industries are growing over time. That is, the matrix has no temporal qualities, but rather it is a snapshot of an organization at a given point in time. Finally, other variables besides relative market share position and industry growth rate in sales, such as size of the market and competitive advantages, are important in making strategic decisions about various divisions. The internal-external IE matrix. The IE matrix is similar to the BCG matrix in that both tools involve plotting a firm's divisions in a schematic diagram. This is why they are both called portfolio matrices. Also, in both the BCG and IE matrices, the size of each circle represents the percentage of sales contribution of each division, and press slices reveal the percentage of profit contribution of each division. There are four important differences between the BCG matrix and the IE matrix. Number 1, the X and Y axes are different. Number 2, the IE matrix requires more information but divisions than does the BCG matrix. Number 3, the strategic implications of each matrix are different. Last, number 4, the IE matrix has 9 quadrants versus 4 in BCG matrix. The IE matrix has 3 major regions that have different strategy implications. Region 1, the prescription for divisions that fall into cells first, second, or fourth can be described as grow and build, intensive market penetration, market development, and product development, or integrative, backward integration, forward integration, and horizontal integration. Strategies can be most appropriate for these divisions. Region 2, the prescription for divisions that fall into cells 3rd, 5th, or 7th can be described as hold and maintain strategies. Market penetration and product development are two commonly employed strategies for these types of divisions. Region 3, the prescription for divisions that fall into cells 6, 8, or 9 can be described as harvest or divest. An example of a 4 division IE matrix is given in figure 8 to 11. So, andyan yung table. So, an example of a 4 division IE matrix is given in figure 8 to 11 as indicated by the positioning of the 4 circles. Grow and build the strategies are appropriate for division 1, 2, and 3. but Division 4 is a candidate for harvest for divest. Division 2 contributes the greatest percentage of company sales and thus is represented by the largest circle. Division 1 contributes the greatest proportion of total profits. It has the largest percentage pie slice. That's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone. I'm Maria Katrina H. Brita and my topic is all about the Swot Matrix and the Strategic Position Action Evaluation Space Matrix. The SWOT matrix stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It is an important tool that helps managers develop 4 types of strategies. The SO for strengths, opportunities, strategies. WO for weaknesses, opportunities, strategies. ST for strengths, threats, strategies. WT for weaknesses, threats, strategies. SO strategies use a firm's internal strengths to take advantage of external opportunities. For example po, ang strength ng isang store, pag nag-in-store promotions po sila, tumataas ng 20% yung benta po nila. Ang opportunity naman po dun is yung 12% na pagdaan ng mga sasakyan dun po sa harap ng store nila. So, ang magiging strategy po nila dun is magdadagdag po sila ng 4 new in-store promotions monthly po para tumaas po yung monthly income po nila. WO strategies aim at improving internal weaknesses by taking advantage of external opportunities. For example, ang weakness ng isang firm ay bumaba ng 8% yung kita nila. And ang opportunity dun ay yung pagtaas ng 18% ng gumagamit ng website nila. Ang strategy po nila na gagawin dun is magla-launch po sila ng mail out sa lahat ng gumagamit ng website nila sa buong lugar po. ST strategies use a firm's strengths to avoid or reduce the impact of external threats. Ang example ko po dito is, ang strength ng store nila is yung 16% na pagtaas ng kita ng isang store galing sa repair and services. Ang threat naman po ay may bagong store na nagbukas sa malapit. Ang magiging strategy nila dun is mag-hire po sila ng 2 repair person and imamarket nila yung mga new services na available po sa kanila. WT strategies are defensive tactics directed at reducing internal weaknesses and avoiding external threats. For example po, ang weakness ng isang store ay pagbagal ng customers, checkout, and ang threat ay may bagong mall na ginawa sa malapit. So, ang magiging strategy na gagawin nila dun is mag-hire po sila ng karagdagang cashiers para mapabilis po yung checkouts ng mga customers nila. And my next topic is Strategic Position and Action Evaluation Space Matrix. Is an approach to hammer out an appropriate strategic posture for a firm and its individual business. Space is an analysis of the following 4 dimensions as in 2-dimensional portfolio analysis and involves a consideration of companies' competitive advantage, companies' financial strength, industry strength, environmental stability. Company's competitive advantage refers to factors that allow a company to produce goods or services better or more cheaply than its rivals. Company's financial strength: the greater a company's ratio of net income to sales or invest, the stronger it is. Industry strength: it is much stronger or more powerful than the product normally available to use. Environmental stability is essentially a concept that acknowledges, responds to change, or lacks change in the systems involved. Four different strategic postures. Aggressive posture, indicating that the company can fully exploit available opportunities and enhance its market share. Number 2, competitive posture, indicating limited financial strength, medium competitive advantage in an attractive industry, and operating in a relatively volatile or unstable environment, necessitating the company to maintain and enhance competitive advantage by improving or differentiating product. Number 3, conservative posture, indicating a company having a limited competitive advantage in a not so attractive industry but enjoying financial strength and operating in a relatively stable environment. Last, defensive posture, indicates a company that lacks both competitive advantage and financial strength and belongs to a not so attractive industry and operates in an unstable environment. That's all po, ma'am. Thank you po. The next reporter po is Miss Libuna.
Good day, everyone. I am Mariel Carmel Silibuna. My topic is all about Grand Strategy Matrix and the Decision Stage Quantitative Strategic Planning Matrix, or the Qspm. Grand Strategy Matrix has become a popular tool for formulating alternative strategies. So this is the instrument for creating alternative and different strategies for the organization. It is good for companies to know which strategies they should or should not develop. Yung iba, gumagamit sila ng SWOT analysis. Tinitingnan yung mga business internal strengths and yung weaknesses. The strategic matrix is based on two evaluative dimensions: competitive positions and market industry growth. Competitive position: the position of the company depends on how the value it provides with goods and services compares to the value of similar goods and services in the market. Market industry growth: the use in the demand for a product or a service in the market. So, meron 4 quadrant ang Grand Strategy Matrix. Makikita natin dito, each quadrants prescribe different strategies for the company or business. The model is based on two dimensions, plotted along a vertical and a horizontal axis. The vertical axis represents market growth, varying from slow to fast growth, yung ating y-axis. The horizontal axis represents organization's competitive position, which may range from weak to very strong, so yun yung ating x-axis. Quadrant 1 represents the company that has a strong competitive positions and rapid market growth. So yung quadrant 1, mapapansin natin, nakapwesto siya sa rapid market growth and strong competitive position. Meron silang excellent strategic positions from active and fast growth in the market, and also meron silang strong position relative to the competition. So yung companies nila ay nakafocus sa kanilang business operation. Quadrant 2 represent a company that also have a rapid market growth but are in a weak competitive positions. So sa quadrant na to, relatively weak competitive situation as a business. Kailangan nilang i-determine why the firm's current approach is ineffective and how the company can best change to improve its competitiveness. So dito kailangan nilang i-improve yung competitive positions ng isang business. Quadrant 3 represents a company who is also in a weak competitive position coupled with slow market growth. Means the company or business have a weak competitive situations and yung market naman ay mabagal na. This is tricky position or may mga problema na. Maybe the company or business not already doing well. So dito sa quadrant 3 ay hindi na maganda yung pagpapatakbo nila sa negosyo. The last, quadrant 4, represents a company who has a slow market growth but is in a strong competitive situations. Means, having strong competitive situations, which is great, but the market is slow to grow or in decline. A strong competitive position is very enjoyable to companies. Slow market growth offers options for finding creative solutions and creating a new market for products and services. So, pwede silang mag-offer ng mga new products or services on a new marketplace para mag-increase yung market growth ng isang business. Then, dito sa apat na quadrant na to, ang pinaka-best ay yung first quadrant. It's mostly about stimulating to grow fast and maintain their competitive positions. And in the other three quadrants of the grand strategy matrix, it's about achieving the best position and increasing their market share. The grand strategy matrix gives us a good and clear image of both the health and future prospect of a company. The decision stage, the quantitative strategic planning matrix or QSPM, which comprises stage 3 of the strategy formulation analytical framework, objectively indicates which alternative strategies are best. So, yung Qspm is an organized way to calculate the score of multiple strategies in order to find the best match strategy for the organization. Then, meron tayong stage 3. Stage 1, the first step in the overall strategic management analysis, is used to identify the key strategic factors. This can be done using, for example, the EFE matrix and the IFE matrix. Then stage 2, provide the needed information for setting up the QSPM. So after we identify and analyze the key strategic factors, as inputs from QSPM, we can formulate the type of the strategy we would like to pursue. This can be done using, for example, the SWOT analysis and the space matrix analysis. Stage 3, the QSPM is a tool that allows strategists to evaluate alternative strategies objectively. So each category is computed by determining the cumulative impact of each external and internal critical success factors. What does a QSPM look like? This QSPM compares two alternatives. One set of strategies may include diversification, whereas another set may include issuing stock and selling a division to raise needed capital. Then ito ating example ay a QSPM for a retail computer store. So all the components of the QSPM ay strategic alternatives, key factors, weights, attractiveness score or AS, total attractiveness scores or the TAS, and the sum total attractiveness score. So we have 6 steps to develop a QSPM. Step 1, provide a list of internal factors. Ayun yung ating strengths and weaknesses. Then generate a list of the firm's key external factors. Ayun naman yung ating opportunities and threats. So makikita natin dito sa left column of QSPM, yung key factors ay mayroong opportunities, threats, strengths, and weaknesses. So, yun yung ating step 1. Next, step 2. Assign weights to each key external and internal factors. Makikita natin dito sa example ng QSPM natin, yung population of city growing 10%, ang weights niya ay 0.10. So, these weights are identical to those in the EFE matrix and the IFE matrix. Step 3. Examine the stage 2 magic matrices and identify alternative strategies that the organization should consider implementing. So, ito yung ating dalawang alternatives. Buy new land and build new larger store. Then you fully renovate existing store. So dito ay group the strategies into mutually exclusively set if possible. Step 4, determine the attractiveness score. So determine by examining each key external and internal factor one at a time and asking question, does this factor affect the choice of strategies being made? If the answer to this question is yes, then the strategies should be compared relative to that key factors. So sa pag-score ng AS or attractiveness score, 1 is equal to non-attractive, 2 somewhat attractive, 3 reasonably attractive, 4 highly attractive. So ayun yung ating AS. Makikita natin may mga number. Example, population of city growing 10%. Ang attractiveness score niya ay 4. Step 5, compute the total attractiveness scores or the TAS. Yung weights sa ating step 2, i-multiply natin sa AS sa ating step 4 para makuha yung TAS. And may note ng AS daw, ang ating alternative 1 and 2 ay naka 100%. Kaya ganun yung naging sagot ng TAS. The last step, compute the sum total attractiveness score or STAS. So ayun yung ating alternative 1 and 2. Yung TAS ay pag-add lang natin yun para makuha natin yung pinaka-total. So sa alternative 1, merong 3.64. Then sa alternative 2, merong 3.27. So ang pinaka-highest ang ating alternative 1, 3.64, yung buy new land and build new larger store. These are all important guidelines to follow in developing a Qspm. So next, the last reporter, Miss Marnica Beros.
Hi, I am Marnica Beros, the last reporter of Group 8, and I would like to report first the cultural aspects of strategy, analysis, and choice. Organizational culture includes the set of shared values, beliefs, attitudes, customs, norms, rites, rituals, personalities, heroes, and heroines that describe a firm. Ito yung mga aspects na nakakaapekto sa pagpili ng mga strategy. Strategies that requires fewer cultural changes may be more attractive because extensive changes can take considerate time and effort. It is because the more differences in culture, the more cultural changes needed, and it takes time to adopt new strategies in different culture. The politics of strategy, analysis, and choice. Tactics used by politicians for centuries can aid strategies. Number 1. Achieving desired results is more important than imposing a particular method. Sometimes people only see the result but not the process. Kung may way or paraan naman para mapadali ma-achieve ang goals, bakit hindi na lang iyon ang gawin? Number 2. Achieving satisfactory results with a popular strategy is generally better than trying to achieve optimal results with an unpopular strategy. Katulad ng number 1, kung may madaling way naman, ayun na lang. Number 3. Often, an effective way to gain commitment and achieve desired results is to shift from specific to general issues and concerns. Ang isang business, hindi lang iisa ang problem na meron sila. Dapat sa pagbuo ng strategic plan, dapat specific agad ang target. Number 4. Often, an effective way to gain commitment and achieve desired results is to shift from short-term to long-term issues and concerns. Example is this pandemic. Hindi natin alam kung hanggang kailan tayo ganito. Ang strategy na ipapatupad ay hindi dapat panandalian lang, dapat yung pangmatagalan. Number 5. Middle-level managers must be genuinely involved in and supportive of strategic decisions because successful implementation will hinge on their support. Managers ang nakakakita ng galaw or problem ng isang firm. Sa kanila manggagaling ang report at sila ang magpapa-implement ng strategy sa mga under nila. So nasa sa kanila ang success ng isang strategic plan. Boards of Director. Governance issue. Board of Directors. It is a group of individuals elected by ownership of a corporation to have oversight and guidance over management and to look out for shareholders' interests. Governance. It is the act of oversight and direction. Board of Director duties and responsibilities. Number 1. To control and oversight over management. A. Select the Chief Executive Officer or CEO. B. Sanction the CEO's team. C. Provide the CEO with a forum. They should provide at least 4 meetings in a year. D. Ensure managerial competency. E. Evaluate management's performance. Board of Directors dapat i-monitor kung satisfactory ba ang performance ng management. F. Set management's salary levels including fringe benefits. Dapat ang sweldo ay tama base sa posisyon nila along with the other benefits. G. Guarantee managerial integrity through continuous auditing. H. Chart the corporate course. I. Devise and revise policies to be implemented by management. Number 2. Adherence to legal prescription. A. Keep abreast of new laws. Dapat updated sa mga batas. Katulad ngayon, binago ni President Duterte ang mga holidays. Dapat mapatupad agad nila yon at masabi agad sa management para alam na agad ng buong firm. B. Ensure the entire organization fulfills legal prescriptions. Kailangan lahat ng related and tungkol sa firm nyo ay legal at sumusunod sa batas. Letter C. Pass bylaws and related resolution. D. Select new directors. E. Approve capital budgets. F. Authorize borrowing, new stock issues, bonds, and so on. Dapat kailangan na lahat ng tungkol sa firm ay legal. Number 3. Consideration of stakeholders' interests. A. Monitor product quality. Quality over quantity dapat lagi. B. Facilitate upward progression in employee of work life. C. Review labor policies and practices. D. Improve the customer climate. E. Keep community relations at the highest level. Kailangan ang relationship sa buong firm ay matibay at may honesty. F. Use influence to better governmental, professional, association, and educational contacts. G. Maintain good public image. Umiwas sa mga bagay na makakasira ng image ng firm para mapagtiwalaan ng mga tao. Number 4. Advance of stockholders' rights. A. Preserve stockholders' equity. B. Stimulate corporate growth so that the firm will survive and flourish. C. Guard against equity dilution. As the number of stockholders increases, the percentage of existing stockholders' ownership decreases. D. Ensure equitable stockholders' representation. E. Inform stockholders through letters, reports, and meetings. F. Declare proper dividends. The board members should agree on the amount to be paid to the stockholders. G. Guarantee corporate survival. It is to prevent the withdrawal of stocks by the stockholders. Principles of good governance. Number 1. Never have more than 2 of the firm's executive, current or past, on the board. It is to avoid conflict of interest at iba pang personal problems. Number 2, never allow a firm's executives to serve on the board's audit, compensation, or nominating committee. So katulad din na number 1 para maiwasan natin ang conflict of interest. Number 3, require all board members to own a large amount of the firm's equity. Number 4, require all board members to attend at least 75% of all meetings. So if there are 4 meetings in a year, all board members must at least attend 3 meetings. Number 5, require the board to meet annually to evaluate its own performance without the CEO, COO, or top management in attendance. Number 6, never allow the CEO to be chairperson of the board. It is to avoid abuse of the position. Number 7, never allow interlocking directorships. Because board members do not compete each other. Kailangan may pagkakaisa ang board of directors or board of members para sa success ng isang business.